And if we go to Luke chapter 2, he tells us about the shepherds. And this is very interesting as well. In one gospel we have these wise, well-to-do men and coming to worship Jesus. And on the other hand we have these shepherds, these kind of lowly, humble men. It shows you about the universality of God's salvation, that all people can come to worship Jesus. And I think we know that shepherds, biblically anyway, shepherds, their role, their duty was to defend their sheep, to protect their sheep. And they would have protected their sheep to the death. I think that's why Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, I lay down my life for my sheep. And in 1 Samuel chapter 17, David actually talks about how he wrestled with the bear and the lion, because there was a lamb that was being attacked. So shepherds would have encountered injury, possibly very serious injury, to defend their sheep. That was what they did. That was their priority. But yet whenever God intervened in their lives and the angel appeared to them and announced the birth of Jesus and told them where you'll find him in Bethlehem in a manger and swaddling clothes. It's really, really interesting that Luke tells us in chapter 2 verse 15 that they immediately left their flock. They left their priority, they left what was important to them, what they were supposed to do. And verse 16 says, they came with haste. So that shows that what they were doing, Jesus, they had their priorities right. Jesus was their main priority at this point. They left everything and they went to Jesus. They left everything that they had and they worshipped Jesus. And I was actually thinking about all the different people who worship Jesus. And whenever you look at each of them, all different people from all different walks of life with all different kinds of problems. Both men and women were allowed to worship Jesus. Jews and non-Jews were allowed to worship Jesus. Blind men worshipped Jesus. Sick men worshipped Jesus. Lepers worshipped him. Sinners worshipped him. Even the man who was demonized worshipped Jesus. So it just shows you that whenever people really go for God and believe in Jesus and love him and worship him, it doesn't matter what we've been through, what we've done, who we are, that everybody can worship Jesus. And I was thinking about worship in terms of how we would feel. It's easy to worship God whenever you feel good and things are going your way and you've seen amazing things. And there's tons of scriptures actually where people worship Jesus whenever there was mighty acts of God being done. This is an amazing one. Matthew chapter 14, he tells us about how Jesus was in the water and there was a strong wind, and he said to Peter, come on out in the water. And then Peter jumps out in the water and he gets scared and he starts to sink, and he says, Lord, save me. And Jesus catches him and saves him. And then they return back to the boat and the wind dies down. And this here's what Matthew tells us in 14 verse 33. He says, those who were in the boat, so those people who witnessed all of this that was going on, worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. And also we know about the blind man. Whenever the man who was born blind, in John chapter 9, Jesus made the mud with a spit in the clay and told him to go and wash in the pool, and he could see then. And then later on, after this guy had been chucked out of the synagogue, he was questioned by the Pharisees. He didn't like Jesus healing on the Sabbath, didn't like Jesus very much. Jesus found out that he had been chucked out of the synagogue, and he went to him and he said to him, do you believe in the Son of God? And the man said, tell me who he is and I will believe in him. So Jesus said, it is he who is standing talking to you. And he said, I do believe. And it says the man worshipped him. So, and all the times that whenever Jesus appeared to his disciples, loads of people worshipped him. I think at the end of Luke, whenever at the ascension, they fell and they worshipped him. And this, I love this one. This here's Matthew chapter 28 and verse 9. This is like, picture the scene, it's like the empty tomb. The angel has appeared to the woman, and they tell him to go and tell the disciples that he is risen. So they go and make their way, and Jesus appears to them. And this is what Matthew tells us they did. So they came and held him by the feet, and they worshipped him. They fell down at his feet and they worshipped him. And I just think it's amazing, like how well do we know Jesus' feet? How often have we sat at his feet? Absolutely amazing. These people just got down and just worshipped him.